Alright, so on my property I have a few different outbuildings. As you can see, there are a couple behind me. But today we're going to be looking at my granary. So this is a granary. This is a pretty typical thing to see on properties here in southwest Minnesota. And what these were for is they would store all the corn up in the top, and then as they needed it, let it out. There's like a port there and a port over there. And inside here you'll see that there's some more spots that you could slide open. Ugh. And the corn would dump out. What I'm noticing is that the building is starting to have some issues with its foundation and with its like tilt. So you stand right here, you can kind of see that it's got like a twist in it. And I think what is happening is the building is starting to move this way, like it's starting to tip that way. It wants to parallelogram that direction toward the gable end. It looks to me like this bottom corner is in further than this top corner. So I need to somehow prevent it from shifting and then falling over. I need to cut down some serious weeds here. So that's what we're going to be working on today. As you can see, that door fell off of this opening up here. That actually fell off, like, I kid you not, like a couple days after I bought the place. Bought the place and then the door fell off, and I was thinking to myself, so this is ownership. Oh boy. It's probably really hard to tell, but these all appear to be leaning. Yeah, building is definitely beginning to lean that way. That corner's kind of sinking down, and this side's beginning to tip out. Yeah, back wall is a lot straighter, so I think that the back side is still okay. It's mostly this front side. So I got all this grass chopped, quite a bit of whatever this ironweed is. Here's the building without any weeds in the way of it. It's got one big timber right on the bottom, maybe like a 6x6 timber. Goes from that corner down to that end. I think it's one continuous piece. And then it has the same thing going to that corner here. Starts to kind of disappear into the ground. Oh, see, it is still here, but look at this. Since it's down in the dirt, it's like completely rotted out. Because this side has nothing to sit on. It's just, its base is completely crumbly and going away. All the way over to this corner, and you'll see that it's actually shifted all the way off. Looking at this some more, I think what I'm actually going to have to do, I'm going to have to lift this side of the building up. After I lift it up, I'm going to have to pull out that beam, dig that out, and put a new beam down here. And I mean, if I want to save the building, which I think I should try to save the building, it still could be a pretty nice building to have. I don't know. Here, why let it completely fall apart? Starting here, it seems like the timbers are okay. So from there to there is okay. From here all the way over to there is okay, but then from here to there is bad, and from here to probably about halfway is bad because it's just down in the dirt getting rotted off. One thing it's really got going for it is that tin on the roof is really strong, rigid structure, so that's helping keep it from tipping too far. If it didn't have that tin on there, it might have gone a lot further already. To the outside, I've just got 2 screws going into each stud all the way down. Just a 2x6. And I'm going to use this random chunk of metal that I found, so it for sure can't pull through. This is going to be our bottom anchor. Here's our cable that we're going to use. I was able to find a nut for this. A washer, and then this nut, just like that. So now that I got the cable attached on that end of the building, I'm gonna have to go and get a ladder because I can't really reach all the way up to there. I just like pushed on the building and it seemed like it wobbled a lot. So I was like, Simeon, did the building wiggle? And he said it did. So he's gonna hold the camera. All right. Are you kidding?
Man, that's scary, kind of.
That is so scary.
Do it again. Yeah, I can see it.
Rotted wood. I hope this building is worth fixing because it's a little iffy. So Johan and Simeon are working on splitting apart these creosote beams. And turns out they're just bolted together, so they're actually super easy to get apart. One reason that people don't really like old bridge lumber is because often they're nailed together, and the only way to get them apart is to like pretty much completely destroy them. But these are bolted, and this is what is going to replace the foundation that has rotted out on that building. I got that bolt put through with a few very large washers on it. Got the cables strung, and I'm just going to use this old come along to pull it tight. Go have a look upstairs. Here's what we got up here. This cable should be able to slide. See that? We're gonna try to get it so it's like this. 6 1/4 inches. Now we're going to go downstairs and proceed pulling the structure together. You can hear the building moving. So we're not going to get the whole building pushed over probably today. I have to do it in increments. Feels pretty stout though. So yeah, I think we'll call her quits right there. Let's check and see if that changed our measurement at all. From this bottom corner. What? Did it change it that much? No. So we went from 6 1/4, which is right here, to it now being 8. So we just pulled from this edge, which isn't even the highest point, we just pulled it over 1 1/4 inches. I am really amazed. It's definitely got some tension on it. We're gonna try to go 2 more clicks. You know what? On second thought, yeah, 2 clicks is plenty. I mean, yeah, you can tell there's a lot of force on that. Oh, wow. How are you, cat? Very tight. Scary. Cables are scary. Yep, look at that. 8 3/8. Wow. So it's definitely working, but we don't want to go too much at a time. So that's all we're going to do for today. And tomorrow we'll probably tighten it a couple more clicks. I think the building is starting to look a little straighter. I really do. I think it looks straighter. I got Micah to come help me today work on the building. I didn't tell you this. I videoed a bunch of the other stuff that I already did, just like putting up the cable and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I just like started videoing Micah. He seems fine with it, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. We added some bracing on the building. We're thinking that this corner is going to be our weakest point. So we added just a few pieces of wood to hold this corner because our floor, what'd you call them? Stringers? No.
Joists.
Floor joists. Why do I want to call them stringers? I don't know. But our floor joists run this way across the floor in the building, which means they're connected really well to this side wall, but they're not connected at all to the gable end. We've got this chunk of 2x12, and that's bringing the weight over onto this 2x6. So when we lift on the gable end, that lift force should also be pulling on all of the floor joists and all of the studs to keep this corner intact. And we're going to be lifting on the 6x6 that is currently holding the entire north side of the building, and I don't really foresee any problems there. Also, the wood, integrity wise, is way better on this side because it doesn't have sunlight ever hitting it, so it's like Yeah, did you look at that? Look how this side is,
yeah,
looks new.
just the lack of weathering.
But yeah, look at the other side of the building. It looks like it's 200 years older. Crusty. To know where we're gonna actually put our new creosote beams in, we put this stake in so that it's level with the top of the 6x6, and we think that this edge is fine, doesn't need to go up or down. And then we're gonna take a string from here. It's gonna just pull right over the top of that and go to that end after we've lifted it and dug out the old wood. And then we're gonna level the top of our new creosote beams with that string. That way when we set the building down, it should be level with this edge over to that edge, we think.
Hope so.
So hopefully that'll work. So Micah's starting on this side. I'm gonna go to the other side right away. It looks like the building is moving up though.
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem like some of the lift is transferring over into there?
Looks like it's moving.
I can hear it creaking in the tin. Hear that? That sounds so scary.
See the lane in the board?
Yeah, so it is doing what I was thinking it might do. It's like going whoop, because the doorway is a really bad weak point. But I guess the building is bendy enough that it's fine. Over to where that 2x6 ends,
Oh,
you can see it's like very obviously like
It's
going.
wrapped.
So yeah, we'll want to get our wood underneath there and then relax that, and then we'll have to come lift it on this side. So this is why we're replacing this stuff. Cuboidal rot. You seen that before, where it rots the wood into squares? Yeah, that stuff is very bad. Oh wow, wow. These studs are are missing like 2 inches.
they're all just rotted on the bottom.
Yeah, these ones are still, well, some of them are. Those 2 are okay. This end one, I think, is almost okay. Yeah, it's not super great. Let's see. There it came. I think we'll try putting that one on top.
Okay.
So our bottom one will come to here.
Gotcha.
And our top one. We just pulled this string that was to our original height. And lo and behold, this end is still like an inch. Like a good inch lower than it's supposed to be. So we're gonna have to lift up more on this side and then get our boards laid in there and then let it down. Right about there. So Micah went along and added chunks of 2x6 onto our studs where they were completely rotted off. So we're just packing gravel in, trying to bring this up to the appropriate height before we slide our wood underneath so that it'll be held even with the string. And then we're going to relax the jacks and it'll squish onto there. Looks like we got it really close on our string there. It's not perfect, but the ground's going to settle and stuff. And Micah and I decided we're not infallible, so we'll be dead someday anyway, so it won't really matter. Pretty much ready to set down. We'll have to kind of do it simultaneously and just slowly set down the building to prevent any weird twisting. Really slowly. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. I think it's pretty much set down actually on my side. To be honest, I was expecting the building to squish those really hard, and it definitely is squishing down on some of it, but look at this end. Oh, this is starting to. I guess too when we take this out. Oh.
You want to try
We put these in here when the building was crooked, which means it's holding the building different than the way the building actually wants to sit. Oh, we got the first gable end taken care of though. So glad I have Micah the carpenter helping me today. It's made everything so much better. You underestimate your abilities. Look at this good work that we've done. So we're pretty much ready now to jack up the other side. Micah went to play volleyball, but Emmanuel thankfully came and replaced him. And we also went and ate some food, so we're fueled up good. All the batteries died in the drills, so we're using this Black & Decker that I got from an auction. It's really actually not very nice. Can you tell, is the building lifting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting very considerable lift. Sit to the side of your jack. I just thought of this. If since we're lifting up and the building's changing angles this way, if that 4x4 ripped off, it will rock it out this way.
Oh.
And it could like knock your teeth out. So sit off to the side of it like this.
I'm glad you realized that now. Not after my teeth were scattered across the yard like seeds or something.
Like chiclets. I think it got rid of the bow most of the way, not all the way. Listen to the building.
Oh, I hear it. It's all the creaking and stuff.
Yeah, just like listen for a second. It's really unsettling. Literally unsettling. Because it was settled before.
Yeah.
Sounds so scary. It's feels solid though, so I think it's fine. All right, I think that's enough for now. We're gonna dig all the dirt back.
All right.
And start taking out the rotten wood. So this end is actually intact pretty well, which means it's not gonna come out easily because they have like a whole bunch of really big nails toenailed into it. And since it's still good and I'm not replacing everything, I'm just gonna replace up to this point and not do that corner. So I just cut it right here. We're gonna pull this out. As long as this wood looks like it's still in pretty good shape, then yeah, just gonna leave it in there. And if it rots out in the next 20 years, then I guess someone else will have to replace it, or I'll have to replace it. But yeah, whatever. It's not that hard. I know how to do it now. Look at this wood right here. It's completely solid, not rotted at all. Oh wow, it smells just like tea tree oil. Oh my goodness, is this, maybe this is tea tree wood. So continual moisture, like dirt and bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the harshest environment for really anything, especially woods. But we were just noticing this. So you've got rock here, rock there, another big fat rock right here. So the building, they set it down on rocks. It's just eventually it settled enough that this end ended up being in the dirt, and therefore it was rotted out. So we're gonna leave those rocks in there, and hopefully when we get our gravel spread, we'll be able to level off our boards pretty well and get everything set back down. Yeah, it's dark out, but look, I think that we have it all in place the way that we want it. The building's gonna sit down, I would say, fairly heavily. I think it's gonna do the job for as long as we need it to. You ready? Oh. Yeah, it definitely set down heavily.
Huh.
Is it contacting here too?
Yeah, wow, it's almost flush now. I didn't think it was gonna go down that far.
Yeah. Are these sitting on the rocks, or they're not quite sitting?
Not yet.
So apparently this is holding this up a little bit.
Which that should.
That's fine. This'll settle a little bit, especially if we get some rain tomorrow. Apparently we're supposed to get like an inch of rain, which may be not good for
Wash away
all this work that we just did to this building. But let's look at it from the side. Did it take out those? Oh man,
Are they gone?
it looks so straight compared to what it looked like.
You think the rest will go away when you take the boards out, or what?
Well, as that other corner settles, oh yeah, and they might, you're right, they just might do that. Oh, it's so much better than it was.
So how many cables do you have in here already?
Just this one.
Yeah?
And it
Oh.
actually stayed pretty tight.
It's kind of in a bad spot though.
Well, it's not supposed to be there permanently.
Oh, just until you.
Just until I could put a base underneath here. Because the building was going to tip that way. Like, I think if I didn't do this, probably would have tipped this fall or next spring. Okay, so one of the next issues that I noticed with the building is yesterday when we jacked up this side, it caused the building to, of course, lift, and that made it tweak toward the north. So now the building actually has a lean that direction on the top. So what we need to do is push it and then put an X brace inside here to hold all of those parallel with one another, going perfectly vertical. If we line up this bottom edge perfectly, you can see where they go like that. Look at this side to be able to see the opposite effect. Yep, which is the top corner being further out than the bottom corner. So I'm just gonna literally push on it with the skid loader, move it that way until I think it's straight, and then add my X brace. Try to push it right on those studs. The skid loader is being tilted back because I'm pushing so hard. That's good. A lot better. We're gonna call that good and go attach that brace in there, and hopefully that will take care of the problem. I realize this building is not ever going to be perfect, okay? I'm just trying to prolong its existence. So I actually ended up making a Z brace. So I added this, and then I added 2 more pieces on the edges. And I think that's going to be good enough to keep all of these where they're supposed to. Sorry, I have the hiccups. I think that's going to keep all these where they're supposed to be. I put 2 screws into every single stud all the way up and on the 2 coming over. It's definitely not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. A lot better than it was before. So I'm gonna back up with the skid loader. Looks pretty good. I like it. So it has been roughly 6 months since I've done anything with the granary behind me. The wood lasted really well down here. The building has settled down now, so it's sitting really good on all these beams, and they're nice and tight in there. I added a flat piece of that treated creosote there as just like a walkway. The building still needs a lot of work, but you can see it is indeed a lot straighter than it was when I started working on it. I'm really happy with how straight all these boards along here ended up being after I took the rest of the wood off of the outside. And then this gable end is being held up properly with the wood that we added underneath. The rain and stuff that we got ended up just kind of filling this hole. While I pushed that dirt back in, the ground just kind of filled in, sunk a little bit, but it's resting on those big rocks along this edge, so it's not really a concern. I still have the cable in the building. This summer I'm probably going to do some more stuff to the building. There's a little bit of tension on the cable. Probably what needs to happen is the outside of the building needs to have new tin put on it, and tin being anchored into all of the studs going up and down is going to hold the building in whatever shape I have it when I put the tin on, and that'll eliminate the need for that cable most likely. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. The door up top, I fixed the latch, put the door back on, added some boards to the inside. It looks really dark right now because it's been raining today, which is why the building looks just really black. But yeah, super happy with how much better shape the building is. I truly believe that if you put a little bit of time and effort into fixing something like this, when it has just, you know, a little bit of a problem, then you won't end up losing it. Like my barn, That building had already fallen over and has since collapsed more. I'm in the process of cleaning all that garbage and debris up. And that's really a bummer. I know that just a little bit of care and effort put into that building 6 years ago would have prevented it from falling over, but unfortunately I didn't own the property that long ago. So the barn is gone. Barn is no more. But I still have this building, so I'm willing to work on it some to keep it a usable building. Maybe it's silly to invest time into buildings that are really outdated, but I have it, so I'm gonna keep it. Might as well. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed. And if you want to see more videos about that building, comment down below so that I know to make them. Otherwise, if this is kind of boring, then maybe I won't make more videos on this series. Hope that you enjoyed. Talk to you later.